Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot, and today I'm actually going to go through the brain burst, alright? Recently, a lot of people have been asking, how strong is the Psyker's brain burst right now? And do you need 6 warp charges to get the best value out of it? Well, let's test it for real and see. First and foremost, alright, none of your weapon blessings will affect brain burst right now. If you guys know of any that do, let me know, because there shouldn't be any, alright? Weapon blessings are supposed to affect your weapons. Now, in terms of your feats, alright, the first thing you'll notice is that Warp Unleashed now affects all damage. How does Warp Unleashed work? Every 20% of peril is one stage of Warp Unleashed. The first stage is special because the first stage is 10%. So at 20% peril, you get a 10% damage boost. 40% peril, 15% damage boost. 60% peril, 20% damage boost. And lastly, 80% peril is the final stage, 25% damage boost. This was covered in the patch notes. Watch the video if you haven't already. Okay. Next, cerebral lacerations will affect the second brain burst. This is more important on bulwarks, crushers, and reapers. All right, not so much on other targets. So the second brain burst will have 25% increased damage. Last but not least, your warp charges, of which you have 4 at base, all right, will grant you 4% extra damage. With warp battery, you can increase this up to 6 warp charges. Do you really need all 6? Well, that's what we're here to determine. So first we'll remove warp battery, setting my limit at a maximum of 4 warp charges. Okay, what we're gonna do now is build up to 4 warp charges real quickly. And ta-da, we've got 4 warp charges. Now, starting from absolutely 0 peril, all right, with 4 warp charges, is it possible to 2-shot a crusher? The answer is yes. With Warp Unleashed cerebral lacerations, starting from 0 peril, it is possible with 4 warp charges to 2-shot a crusher. All right, with the bulwark, is this possible? Let's test. Again, the answer is yes, because the bulwark actually has unyielding armor on its head, compared to Carapace armor, which receives more damage from the brain burst, so it's easy to 2-shot a crusher. What about a Reaper from 0 peril? Let's test. Going right from 0 peril, the Reaper will be left with some hit points. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna quickly recover our warp charge. What about at high peril? Meaning at 80% peril. All right. At the highest level of Warp Unleashed, now keep in mind, you can brain burst as long as you're below 97 and you won't pop. But even at the highest level of peril, with 4 warp charges, the Reaper is left on a tiny dot of hit points. Alright? So you can 2-shot everything but Reapers with 4 warp charges. Do you really need the 6? Is the Reaper alone worth it when it's left on a dot? I mean, one stray bullet could kill him. So, considering that the Reapers will often take fire from your teammates, 6 warp charges may not be necessary. Now, what about the other specialists though? This is important. What about the other specialists? Okay, first and foremost, for the Scab Mauler, there is no way to one-shot because of the Carapace armor on their head. It will always be below the 1,500 hit points that they have. Oh, sorry, the 1,800 hit points that they have. So, realistically speaking, you can't do much there. But for the okay, let's check out the rest. First, let me kill the sniper. Starting at totally 0 peril, all right, for the specialists, we cannot kill the flamer or the Tox flamer. They have about 1,500 hit points. With 4 warp charges, starting at totally 0 peril, it is also not possible to kill the Maniac Rager. All right. Let me recover 4 warp charges and check out the other Scab Rager. It should be possible on the Scab Rager. I just want to double check. Okay, starting at totally 0 is also not possible on the Scab Rager, even though it's flak armored instead. You will still do 1,300. This seems like a bit of an oversight because on flak armor, I'm supposed to deal more than on Maniac, but either way, doesn't matter. Okay, so with 4 warp charges at base, I cannot kill the Maniacs or the flak armor Ragers, okay? But this changes if we happen to be at relatively high peril. So how much peril do you need? Anything above 60 will work. All right, let me just show you. Above 60 now, it'll work. In fact, I think above 40 will work. So if you're not starting at totally zero, above 40 will... Oh, sorry. That was a misdeed because I forgot to finish him off. Above 40 will absolutely murk him. All right. Let me just kill the Tox Flamer. Yeah, there we go. Now, above 40, attempting it on the Flamers, it still won't work. For the Flamers, you know, you will need to be above 60, just so you know. So as long as you're above 60 for the Flamers, bang. Oh, damn it. Oh, because I'm one warp charge down, no wonder. Sorry about that. My apologies, having to reset that. Okay. If you are above 60... Well, sorry, that was above 80, wasn't it? If you are above 60 with 4 warp charges, you will kill them. Okay? So the safety margin for the specialist is about 60. You could... At 40, you will kill the Ragers, but you won't kill these guys. So in general, when you're brain bursting, okay, my tiny screw-ups aside, it is much wiser to be at 60% peril, assuming you don't want to use your full 6 warp charges. All right, 60% peril is enough. And how's it going to look on the Reapers? Well, let me just refresh my warp charges. All right, on the Reapers, assuming you start above 60, and your second cast, you're probably just going to do it above 80, you will still leave them on this tiny dot where that'll be enough to finish them off. But please don't immediately switch and then finish them off that way. They may also have taken some damage from you already, so because they're left on a tiny dot, it's not really worth it going to 6 warp charges now. So for those of you that have asked me the question, what if I don't like warp battery? Do I have to use warp battery? You can go with kinetic flare if you don't want to use warp battery when it comes solely to brain burst. Let me reiterate that, when it comes solely to brain burst, all right? When it comes to the stabs and other things, right, you should test based on your own breakpoints and the type of feats that you use, things like that. Like for me, okay, let's say I've got kinetic flare going, which is the alternative that people like. It's not for the Surge Staff, okay? But I'm just going to demonstrate it with the Surge Staff, all right? If I'm generally playing the way that I do, at relatively high peril, no matter whether I have 6 warp charges or not, it's not going to help me hit a breakpoint in terms of murking these guys, all right? Because I'm mostly going to be at high peril anyway for the crits and all that kind of stuff, and quelling is so easy. In general, having 6 warp charges, oh well, I guess for the Scab Mauler it does, but with the Surge Staff I always use warp battery anyway, because kinetic flare doesn't benefit it much. As you can see, it will trigger mostly off this, and if you're swinging your sword to trigger it, that's not really very helpful either, because you'd be using it on these types of mobs, which you are capable of killing regardless. Get your slaughter stacks up and they die. Especially since the pattern of the slash is usually around the head. So, see how that works? Yeah. So because of that, right, 4 warp charges is more useful on staffs such as Pregatus, the Void Strike to an extent. I'm going to be testing that later tonight to see what people think. For Trauma, I still prefer 6, but again, that is because of because the Trauma plays actually, in my opinion, similar to the Surge Staff. So we'll see after more in-depth testing where that goes. But for yourselves, if you are, for example, if you favor the Void Strike Staff, see if you needed to hit a breakpoint on the characters that you normally Void Strike. If not, then you can go with Kinetic Flare instead. I've had a lot of people ask me about this because they say it's a nice quality of life upgrade. I'm like, listen, if you like it, go for it. All right, I'm not going to stop you. For Purgatus, Kinetic Flare is definitely another choice, but the other alternative is Wildfire right now, and that is also under serious consideration. So we shall see, we shall see. I'll be doing more in-depth testing on the Purgatus as soon as I can. For now though, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this has helped to inform you about how strong the Psyker's Brain Burst is. Alright? And you know, if you like my content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to support my channel, you know, get this video to 100 likes, I'd be very happy. Other than that, you know, you can always tip, donate, send super chats. All this is very welcome as well. Members as well also get shout outs during the end of my proper videos. So we're gonna do that right now before we go. Thank you very much to the following channel members who make this content possible. They are absolutely awesome. Let me pull up the list. Come on. List, work with me. Twerknology sometimes irritates me. Okay, Death Dawning 982 at Plus Ultra. We've got Jerry Fast, Rogue Assassin, Oh Mr. Green Buff, Zach NFG, Prestige. Thank you guys. These are our top fans right now. In terms of our honored robots, we've got the following individuals: Bob John, Jammer Boy, Joey Danze, Underpaid Enlisted Soldier, A Ripley, The Mighty Zeno, Triple D326, Dariverse, Cordova, Maze, Chade D12, I'm Peeps, Syed Assad, Pringle Bread, Tuan Nguyen, Valorous, Coda CMF, Kami SMH, Conrad C, Nate the Great, Corey Ryu, Benjamin Savage, Lady Neo, and Greasy Burger. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, and I will see your beautiful faces on the next one, okay? Saranghaeyo. Whacked my own hat at the end of the video, but y'all love me.